Welcome, Jet fans, to another episode of the Jets Life podcast. The Jets are 6-3. After their bye week, they head to New England to play against the 5-4 New England Patriots in a rematch from our loss a few weeks back at home to the Patriots. A couple weeks ago was very disappointing. It was a game that we should have had, should have won, and should have won by a lot. The way the direction the game was going. Obviously, there were some calls in that game, that should have and could have gone our way and would have adjusted that scoreline a little bit, possibly resulted in a victory. A bad game by Zach, a lot of interceptions, three interceptions, low completion percentage. He went 20 for 41, I believe was his ending stat line. So obviously, a lot of room for improvement in his game personally. Defense had some missed tackles that gave Patriots big chunk plays. Just a lot of stuff went wrong in that game that we could obviously adjust and improve on going into this game. But with all that being said, we are where we're at. 6-3 is our record, and with a chance with a victory against the Patriots to improve to 7-3 and first place in the division. But a loss obviously would kind of hurt that a lot. It would bring us down to 6-4 and potentially a last place standings in our division. So obviously, this game crucial to the direction of the rest of the season. Um, but it seems like over the years that's always been the case. I mean, obviously the Patriots have always been in the front of us in the standings for many years. Um, but it seems like and then there hasn't been many recently, understandable. But it seems like when there's moments in a season where you know we're kind of trending in the right direction, maybe following a victory. The next team on our schedule is always the Patriots, and in more cases than not, we come out with a loss, and either it derails the season, puts us in a little bit of a losing situation, losing streak. Um, a good example of it, and this kind of goes both ways in the same season, but in 2015, I remember our record was 4-1 going into the game against the Patriots. We ended up losing that game, brought us, went on a losing streak, went down to 5-5, met up with them later in the year with a record of 9-5, I believe we were at, with a chance to win and control our own destiny and get into the playoffs. We end up defeating them in overtime. The Ryan Fitzpatrick to Eric Decker touchdown, which to this point is the last time that we've beaten them. Yes, 2015. Yes, everyone knows the 13 straight losses, all that stuff. All the fun and glory with everything there. End up winning against them, and obviously Rex Ryan beat us with Buffalo in that Week 17 match. Um, just a game that we all like to forget. But anyway, but yeah, there's that game. There's Sam Donald's return from mono. Came back, beat Dallas. Everything seemed like things may have been going back in the right direction. The very next week was the ghost game. So as I mentioned, just a lot of times we play this team with a chance to get our season right, and in a lot more cases than not, we end up coming out with a loss, and things don't look the same for the rest of the year. I don't want that or expect that this time around. Again, as I mentioned earlier, a win against this team puts us to 7-3, first place in the division. But another thing that we should look at in this game, at least that I assume Salah's got this team pumped with what we can do, what this game means, what a victory against the Patriots and potentially improving our division record to 3-1, which is going to be crucial. I mean, I strongly believe between the teams in this division, the team that has a record, the best record in the division, I think is going to be the one that comes out as division winner. And you know, with a victory against the Patriots, improves 3-1. We have a strong possibility of getting to 4-2. I think we can steal a victory, whether it be against Buffalo. I think it more comes against Miami, but I mean, obviously, we want to come out of this division with a better record than the other two. So, and obviously, tiebreaker implications, all those factors come into play when you're considering, possibly fighting for this division. But let's worry about that stuff when the time comes. Today, it's all about the Patriots. And as I mentioned earlier, the offense struggled. And what needs to change in this game for the offense that wasn't there last time? Well, we mentioned earlier, Zach Wilson's struggles really put a hinder on everything that this offense was trying to do. The turnovers, everything was going fine and dandy. We are up 10-3, driving down. I think we're at the 50-yard line. It was a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, whatever the down and distance was. Um, we were, at midfield, and that's when he threw the first interception. I believe it was to Bentley. Threw the interception. It was an overthrown pass. I think he was targeting Tyler Conklin. Just threw it over his head. Linebacker was, behind the tight end, and it just fell right into his hands. And they got the ball at midfield, and eventually that led to a field goal to bring it 10-6. Yes, somewhere in between there was the JFM penalty that negated a pick six that would have, that had MetLife rocking. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The referees had their hand in on that play. Whether it was a right call or not, doesn't matter at this point. But the first interception there, the second interception, the throwaway, gave the Patriots again the ball, right around, I want to say they're at the 40-yard line. And then later on in the game, it was just that the third interception was just a matter of him just trying to throw it up there and hoping, you know, more good happened than bad. And unfortunately, bad happened. McCourty got his second interception of the game, ran it back, far down the field. I think they also got it again to the midfield. So a lot of opportunities for the Jets to potentially, have put the nail in the coffin in this game. They didn't do it. Turned the ball over multiple times. Gave the Patriots short fields, um, and not to mention, you know, for whatever reason, Mike LaFleur calling a game where basically abandoned the run. I'm not sure what happened there. Um, could it be that was the first game after Brees Hall's injury? Maybe didn't feel as confident with the direction of the running game. Also, AVT was out. That was his first game out. It was after the Denver game. So, yeah, AVT's first game out, Brees Hall's first game out. May just didn't have enough confidence in what the offensive line was at that point. But all these things considered, we needed to establish the run in that game. That's where it all comes down to. That's what the identity of this team is. It's running the football. It's, accurate, quick passes by Zach Wilson to gain first downs, yards. Um, this really isn't an offense that's to the point yet where the big chunk plays are going to happen, at will. You look at teams around the league, Buffalo, they're chucking it up more than they should. And, that cost them in the game against Minnesota. We're not there yet, and nor should we be there yet. We're only in second year of Zach Wilson development. Buffalo's in year 4, or year 5, depending on 18. Yeah. So they're in year 5 of Josh Allen. So we're not even close to that point yet. So we need to take baby steps before we can run, run. And the way we do that is by running the football and establishing that run game, get Zach Wilson in comfortable positions, working off play action. When this guy has time in the pocket, he excels very well. I mean, he's really, really good when he has time and the protection's there, which again, offensive line had their struggles mid-year and that's to be expected when you're down to like your, fifth, sixth offensive tackle on the depth chart. For that being said, the offensive line has been, pretty good for the most part with, you know, with what they have going for them. So, I mean, I I expect Zach Wilson to have a much better game than he did the first time around. You can hear it in his voice. He's pissed off about what happened the first time, but to the same token, he understands, that there's room for improvement. There's things he can do to be better. And if you really do look at that game, the 3 interceptions, horrible. The low completion percentage, horrible. But as he threw for a lot of yards, 355 yards on 20 completions. If you take a look at that stat line, that's about 17 yards per completion. Great stat line. But if you take that same, obviously every game is one in its own, but if you look at that same game, if he was able to complete just a little bit more, maybe get instead of being under 50%, get it to 55 and dare I say 60% and 3 to 4 yards a pop on that. And you're really talking about a game, like a much different game from Zach Wilson than, it's looked at. I mean, it was his first 300-yard game, and you would have wished that first 300-yard game came with a victory and a lot of touchdowns and not many turnovers, but unfortunately, that's the way it was, and it just goes to show that when he has to throw the ball out a lot, he's it's gonna make mistakes, and that's just the way it is sometimes. When a team knows you're gonna pass, they're gonna come out there with coverages that are gonna fool you, and for him, second year in the league, you know, Bill Belichick's made a living off of making things difficult for young quarterbacks. So I think the offense, they know what their identity is. They're going to run the football. They're going to do an intermediate passing game, and from there, just controlling the clock like they did with Buffalo. Basically, the same exact recipe that they had in the Buffalo game is what I would expect from this offense for the rest of the season. Yes, there's going to be times when the game, obviously calls for a different style, different game plan. There are going to be teams that are going to start to put more and more people in the box to prevent you from running the football and forcing you to pass. But we have the skill position players with Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, when Corey Davis comes back, Denzel Mims, um, the tight ends, CJ Uzama, Conklin, and obviously Michael Carter and James Robinson have their skill set to help in the passing game as well. But there are going to be games where the teams load up the box and these skill position players are going to go out there and have to win. Everything that's gone with Elijah Moore, I mean, say what you want about it. The guy has talent. The guy can get open. For whatever reason, it's not happening right now as much as you would like, or he's not in the line of the progression when he is open. LaFleur has to figure that out. There's no reason that Elijah Moore should not be more involved in this offense than he is. Obviously, he had his issues with the whole demand the trade thing. Was he put in the doghouse a little bit? Yes. I mean, obviously they just told him to stay home for the Denver game. Patriots game, very limited targets. The Buffalo game, they basically had him running marathons in the backfield as a decoy and as a motion guy. And I don't even think he got a single target in that game. At some point, if it's been a series of just kind of in the doghouse or whatever the case may be. I doubt that's the case, but at some point, he's got to be a focal point for this offense. Especially, I mean, I look at this game specifically. When you go against the Patriots, Bill Belichick always wants to take away your best player, and offensively, our best player is Garrett Wilson. Um, it's not no surprise he's been Zach Wilson's favorite target. When we played him last year, Corey Davis was the obvious favorite target for Zach Wilson in that game. They made sure that Corey Davis was covered by multiple defenders, and unfortunately, Zach wasn't to the point of his career. He was forcing the football in there, um, wasn't trusting his other targets, and it led to another disaster from a turnover standpoint. But you know, LaFleur's gonna have to one figure out ways to get Garrett Wilson open, even when the Patriots are trying to take him away, and two, if they're gonna take Garrett Wilson away, you have other targets. You have other players to get the ball to. You can't double cover every single player. If you do that, you're not gonna have enough players to rush the passer. So it's gonna come to Mike LaFleur to really kind of put something together to get these other targets involved in the passing game and give Zach Wilson easy completions. Just you know, it it really is a lot when you give a quarterback easy completions and are able to build on that and continue to kind of gain confidence, especially against the Patriots. I mean, Zach Wilson said it himself. He got frustrated when he had to throw the ball away. Well, the way you prevent that is don't make him throw the ball away. Give him easy completions. Give him, throw your best plays out there. Your top 15 should be a lot of running, but a lot of passing plays that work off the run to give Zach Wilson those easy completions. Get that completion percentage up. If he can throw for 60% and limit his turnovers, I don't think there's a game really that the Jets can lose. You know, not many games that is over the course of the rest of the season. If this defense is playing the way it is. Switching over to the defense, you know, everything they did against Buffalo was just outstanding. Did they start off terribly? You could say that 2 rushing touchdowns by Josh Allen. Third downs were not their best friend in the first half of that game. Um, and like I said, Josh Allen run the football. But from a passing standpoint, I mean, you just they just gave Josh Allen fits. No passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and they made him look foolish a lot of times. And in that, they got to him with the pass rush with rushing 4. I think there was only two passing plays the entire game where they rushed more than 4. I mean that's the recipe for this team. Rush 4, get the pressure, rotate these defensive linemen. They suit 10 defensive linemen. It seems like almost every game. Just continue to do that. Get these pass rushers in there, and make this the game where we can where strike away or have watching game in the fourth quarter. And I really think we have the playmakers make it happen, both on defense and offense, to come out with a victory. So the recipe for this game, no different than what we did against the Bills. Just the one caveat is, I would say, the Patriots obviously aren't the Bills. They're not going to throw it, 70, 60, 70% of the time. It feels like they're going to want to run the football first, work off play action, to give Mac Jones easy completions. That's what they've done for the longest time. They run a lot of pick plays in the passing game, so we got to watch out for that. Obviously, their touchdown last time we played them, the touchdown to Jacoby Myers was exactly that. Should have been called for offensive pass interference potentially, probably, sure, but it wasn't. Led to some miscommunication. There should have been someone else over there probably, to cover Jacoby Myers and get over the top so that if Sauce was being blocked, someone else can get out there and make tackle. But that's what the Patriots have done. They've done it since Welker was there. They've done it with Edelman all these years. It's always been their recipe: get someone in motion, get someone in space, short completion, make them turn the corner, get a first down, and in that case, got a touchdown. So this the communication has got to be, at its best, like it was against Buffalo. Just good tackling has to happen. We had a lot of missed tackles in that last game. Can't have that. If we can you know, control the sticks and put them in third downs, they're not going to convert every third down. This isn't an offense that's built around, getting, into third and longs. That's not what they want. They do not want to get into third and longs. We can control the running game. Ramondre Stevenson had a big game against us last time. Gotta control him a little bit because it seems like that's a little go-to target for Mac Jones when things get hectic. So the defense just, it's the front four. Get to the passer, get that pressure, and this defense continue to locking down. They've done a fantastic job of it all season long, covering receivers. It's no different this week. The skill level maybe from Mac Jones to Josh Allen is a big step down, but that does not mean we kind of take the foot off the gas. It's the same thing we've done all season long. Put these guys in man coverage. Shade DJ Reed with a safety, on a number one target. Just keep doing what we've been doing. If we continue to do that, I mean, there's like I said, there's not many games we're going to lose, if this defense is doing what it's been doing and the offense can manage the game and control the turnover battle. If that all happens, I think we come out with victories, down the stretch. With all that being said, I think I think we can all agree that the Jets let one slip away against the Patriots, a few weeks back. Um, you know, seconds away from one penalty away from being up 17-3. Instead, the score is 10-6. Should have been running away with it. Instead, we come out of the first half, allow a touchdown, and Patriots took a lead and they never looked back. I don't think that's gonna be the case this time around. I do think that the Jets have a bad taste in their mouth still from what happened last year. I think they have even worse taste in their mouth from the first game. I think you could tell by the voice in these players that they all think that we should have won that game. They know that we're the better team. It seems like, um, as as they should, because I do think that from a talent perspective, we are the better team. It's going to come down to the coaching. It's going to come down to the quarterback play. If all that works out, I think we come out with a victory, and I don't think it's going to be that close. I think we're going to come out at least with a score of 24-13. Is kind of where I'm sitting at with the prediction on this game. But I mean, the only way that happens is, as I said, Zach's got to keep the turnovers down. He's got to increase that completion percentage, and we've got to run the football. With that, and this defense playing the way it's been, I don't see a way that we come out with a loss in this game. I think that there's definitely motivation for this team. First place on the line. Who would have thought we've been in this position, when the season started, to be in first place after 11 weeks, 10 games into the season. it's you know it's that next pivotal game against the enemy from New England, um, with a chance to turn the season into, or propelling the season into something great, or the latter option of losing this game, getting to last place in the division. Just a lot on the line, and I know that this team's going to come out ready to play, ready to roll, all that motivation. It's going to be something special. I feel, but you know, We're motivated, we're hungry, and let's go out in there and get a win. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and have a great day.